Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Global Beast Tamer. I, the Eternal Beast Tamer. Chapter 71. Today, a group of uninvited guests came to the eastern end of the grassland. Riding on the mighty dust and smoke, the wolves have finally reached their final stand. Brother G, where is the sky-splitting eagle? Ever since GTN rescued Muyushi, she seems to have changed her personality. She is no longer the silent person she was before, but has become a warm and cheerful little girl. GTN was also happy like this. Everyone will like having a lark by their side. I don't know, but the evidence should be on this cliff. GTN looked at the 1,000-foot cliff without any grass. What a magical nature. The grass on the grassland here grows taller than people, but there is no grass growing on the opposite side of the cliff thousands of meters away. There seems to be something preventing plants from surviving here. GTN looks far into the distance. Hesitation is morning. A large amount of white mist was produced between the cliff and the grassland. Although a lot of it has dissipated, it is still somewhat obstructing the view. He seemed to see a huge cave at the end of his sight. But it's even more misty there. He wasn't sure either. Could it be? Is that the sky-splitting eagle's lair? GTN secretly kept a thought in his heart. Something seems wrong with the current situation. When he led the wolves to the west, as soon as he entered the western part of the grassland, he was noticed by the underground demon spider clan, and the whole clan intercepted him on their way forward. But here, they have been in the east for 2 days. The overlord here didn't even make any movement. This isn't right. Now I have brought the wolves to its doorstep. And it remains indifferent. Are you afraid of us? Wrong. My own eclipse moon was quite passive. Once the enemy runs fast enough, this has no effect on them. At most, the nest will be destroyed. GTN suddenly thought of a possibility. Either there is something in the sky-splitting eagle's cave worthy of its protection, or it doesn't intend to be an enemy of itself, but this is obviously impossible. It is the overlord of the eastern grassland. How could he just admit defeat without even fighting? Did it lay eggs? GTN's pupils shrank. I thought of this possibility. According to what Muyushi told me on the way, the sky-splitting eagle is actually a female, and this is the season when all things revive. Thinking about it this way, it's really possible. Wrong. If there are cubs in its nest, it won't let them get close. He knows. If you go close to the female ferocious beast during its spawning period, that will irritate it greatly. The kind that never stops. That means there will be other arrangements. GTN never underestimated any palace-level overlord. Even when conquering the wolf clan, they also fought each other first and then subdued them. Otherwise, with the wolf clan's unruly nature, why would GTN make him and the others listen to him? Even in this process, GTN did not hesitate to kill several wolf kings and conquer several wolf tribes. In this way, the other wolves were just so obedient. Really, things are just as GTN thought. GTN and the others arrived here not long ago. There was a trembling sound on the ground that was several times stronger than the march of wolves. Coming. Change the direction of the wolves. The wolves are backed by a cliff. The first thing that appeared was the huge flock of birds in the sky. They are densely packed like moving black clouds, pressing towards this side. Overwhelming. Approaching quickly. Then, the west. Exclamation mark. 365. Countless ferocious beasts are also coming in this direction. Demon-eating tiger. X. Two-headed poisonous python. Angry eyes King Kong. With the palace-level beast king as the leader, the gold-level ferocious beast as the backbone, and the silver-level ferocious beast as the suffix, a group of beasts surrounded GTN and the others. There are all kinds of ferocious beasts and birds in the sky. The ground is surrounded by various palace-level ferocious beasts. From time to time, rat-like ferocious beasts were revealed from below, and then they burrowed back into the ground in the blink of an eye. Behind you is an abyss. And there might be high-level ferocious beasts from the palace attacking at any time on the cliff. Dead end. It's also a dead end. Slowly, when the earth stops shaking, all the ferocious beasts have gathered together. GTN looked outside. There are ferocious beasts inside and out. There is no room for escape. He knows. This is calculated. Someone or someone who is not human deliberately let them find this place, and then wanted to drive him to a dead end. Who is it? GTN looks for the person behind them among the fierce beasts. So many ferocious beasts. And it is not a separate race, it must have absolute strength to intimidate. 0. Please give me flowers. So, is this the trump card of the sky-splitting Diao? Just now, GTN knew that the sky-splitting eagle would never give up easily. I didn't expect it to unite all the ferocious beasts in the east of the grassland. Incredible. Worthy of being the overlord of the eastern steppe. Wrong. It can also be said to be the overlord of the entire grassland. Because it seems to be the only high-end palace on the entire grassland. I don't know how many years I have lived on this grassland. GTN sighed in his heart. No overlord is simple. So who is it looking for to control these ferocious beasts? GTN is very curious. Because he still couldn't find the sky-splitting eagle. For example, the wolf clan is led by Xiaoyu Tinlong, and the crypt demon spider is ruled by the crypt demon spider king. Then who has the ability to lead this chaotic group of ferocious beasts? What? Why don't you come out to meet us? GTN didn't look like he was under siege at all, and there was still a fearless courage in the face of thousands of enemies between his eyebrows. This is confidence. What kind of situation he has never seen. Even when he faced hundreds of thousands of crypt demon spiders before, he dared to exterminate them. Nowadays, these are only hundreds of thousands of ferocious beasts, even if they are a little stronger. Do you think you will be afraid? Impossible. Ha ha ha. See you when you see me. I am an orc. Who am I afraid of? A voice came from the front. The beast herd opposite GTN suddenly dispersed to the left and right. 4 2-meter-tall orcs appeared on the head of a 50-meter giant rock bear. There are 2 bear-headed figures, one with a crocodile head, and the other with a head similar to that of a sika deer. Orcs. This was the first time for GTN to see the orcs. He couldn't help but be a little surprised. I heard in textbooks that they were the product of some evil human experiments, so they rebelled and became independent. And there is war in every border area between the 2 races. It lasted for thousands of years, with neither side doing anything to the other. Therefore, no matter where they are in the world, people from the 2 races will almost always be killed when they meet. Either you die or I die. Chapter 72. To be honest, GTN still sympathizes with the emergence of this clan. But sympathy is sympathy. If you need to fight, you must fight. Or, he has to go to bed. Human boy, tell me your name. When I bring it back to the clan, I will definitely place your head in the human capital, ha ha ha. Shang laughed loudly and said, the greatest glory of their orc clan is hunting humans. Then put them in a Jingguan view. That represents their glory. It is their capital of pride. And, every festival, the tribe will compare to see who has the greatest views, then he will gain the admiration of the women of the tribe and the respect of others. And, Jingguan is also divided into levels. The lowest level is the head of an ordinary person. That is the least valuable. Next is the beast master's head. This is more precious. And even better is the head of the human race's genius beast master. 837, is their supreme glory. I even heard that the demigod in their clan had killed the son of a demigod city lord from the human race when he was young. That was also the highest ranking person killed by their orc clan. Whenever you entertain guests, you must show it off. Make other demigods jealous. Now, opposite him is a human genius. As long as I bring his head back, I will definitely get a reward from the clan. Enough for him to gain the appreciation of the elders. Shang Da's wishful thinking was ringing. Because he doesn't think there's any chance of you making a comeback. This time I have assembled an army of 150,000 ferocious beasts. Heaven, earth, underground. There are hidden beasts he invited. This time they will definitely not be able to escape. Shang Da, then you want that man, and I want that woman. That woman is so beautiful. I want to put her at the highest position in my palace. The yellow bear-headed Shang excitedly divided GTN and the others. It seems that GTN will be defeated. Okay, I'll give that to you. Shang Da was very proud, but the woman was not interested. Even if it is beautiful. But the aesthetics are different. He can't do it. Boss, can you leave that elf to us too? The 2 orcs with the crocodile head and the sika deer head also hurriedly said. Nishikora said it was too late and lost his share. Let's talk about this after we go back, said the elf. Shang Da suddenly remembered that the elder said before he came that if he could catch an elf and give it to him, he would reward him well. So, when the two orcs next to him said this, he remembered it. That elf has to be taken back and presented to the elders. The remaining two stood aside when they heard this loss, knowing that they were inseparable. I can only collect some heads of other human races for a while. There was no concealment in the voices of the orcs at all, nor did they bother to conceal them. They orcs are never weaker than humans. Brother G, these orcs deserve to be damned. Even the gentle and kind-hearted Muyushi was extremely angry when she heard the orcs' conversation. Take the heads of their human race and make them into Jingguan. And put hers on top to show off to others. How much hatred is there? It's simply worse than whipping a corpse. Don't blame her for being so angry. Don't worry, they will die today. GTN was furious when he heard that some orcs used his own head as a temple. What is Jingguan? Jingguan is a high tomb built by gathering the corpses of enemies to show off their military exploits and sealing them with earth. It is called Jingguan. GTN had heard of this practice when he was studying history in his previous life, but he never expected that he would actually do it in this world. This is a race that shouldn't exist. GTN secretly decided that if he encounters orcs in the future, he must kill them all. It is best to destroy this clan in the future. How dare you discuss how to divide them in front of him? Hearing GTN's calm words, Muyushi believes GTN definitely has a way to deal with this situation. He must be the one who wins in the end. He is a man who is good at creating legends. In fact, the elf girl behind them also thought the same way. She saw GTN subdue the wolves with her own eyes, and saw GTN disappear into the western land with her own eyes. So, even in the face of these ferocious beasts, she still has confidence in GTN. But, they have confidence. Other bystanders may not. At this moment, the remaining three major colleges have reconciled, or are temporarily cooperating and utilizing each other. What should I do? That man can't defeat the army led by the orcs. The hot girl Wazian, the leader of the Suzaku Academy, squeezed the whip fiercely and said worriedly. She was even worried that the wolves would not be able to fight at all. So what should they do with their plan to fish in troubled waters? Are you going to lose before you even start? She was so angry that she wanted to rush forward and kill those orcs immediately, so that she could carve out the sky-splitting carving. But when she saw the ferocious beasts all over the mountains and plains, she still had no impulse. Calm down. Do you think the other party is anxious? What if he still has a trump card? The people from Xuanwu Academy were relatively calm. Maybe it has something to do with the contracted beast. Their temperaments are relatively mild, or rather slow. But they are also the most observant. When they saw GTN standing on Silver Wolf's back without much panic, they also calmed down. What trump card does he have? That's a beast worth 150,000 yuan. And there are hundreds of hall level and thousands of gold level beasts. How do you think he can win? Wazian said impatiently to the people at Xuanwu Academy. What she dislikes the most is that Xuanwu Academy always looks like it's not in a hurry. And exactly the same, Xuanwu and other colleges are also impatient with their impatient temper at Zook College. But for the great cause. They all endured it. And in another place opposite their image, people from all major families also gathered together. Looking at the battlefield at this time, they also felt a little anxious. They were all scratching their heads and thinking of ways to do it. They seemed to be more anxious than GTN, who was facing the ferocious beast head-on. What happened at a critical moment? Unexpectedly, the orcs also came to join in the fun. Zhao Li, you are from the Zhao family, think of a solution quickly. Xu Jiacheng urged the young man sitting there. It's been so long and it's still there so leisurely. Yes, young Master Zhao. We are all here to do something for you. What do you think we should do? Those are 150,000 ferocious beasts. That guy is definitely doomed. That's right. This matter still depends on Mr. Zhao. Ma Liang, only obey young Master Zhao. More than 20 aristocratic family members around also said 2.5. They don't know anything else, but they are quite proficient in flattery. Zhao Li, who was sitting there, chuckled lightly and looked calm. But he had already started cursing in his heart. It's true that he belongs to the Zhao family. But I just don't know how many side branches there are. Could he not know what these people were doing? Wasn't it just that he was going to come up with a strategy and then they would grab the ferocious beast egg at the end? I really thought he was stupid. Which of these people has no trump card? He doesn't accept this. Quiet, don't be anxious. Let's see first. No one knows the outcome until the end. I have confidence in him. After saying that, Zhao Li continued to sit there leisurely, closing his eyes and relaxing. Look with your eyes, don't worry with your mind. This. Seeing that Zhao Li was not fooled at all, they all sighed. What a great opportunity. Chapter 73. Apart from these two groups, there is a group of people hiding on the grassland. They are people at the city level. It is also the largest number of people. They are not as talented as the students of the academy, nor do they have the background of the children of aristocratic families, so they can only stick together for warmth. And it just so happens that this group of people is dominated by two men, Wang Shifeng with afro hair and Zhao Lijian with tight clothes. The two of them did not die at home. Instead, he chose people from the city with lower strength. No reason. Just because these people are the ones who really dare to fight hard. At the same time, they are also a group of people who are easier to fool. GTN doesn't know where these people are hiding. But he knew someone would definitely come. And there are quite a few people coming. He already knew when someone was peeping at him from afar in the sky a few days ago. But he didn't pay attention to them. Just watch it. It's not like GTN didn't do anything shameful. When the time comes, just dig a hole for them and bury them. Why care? Ouch. Ouch. At this time, behind GTN, many silver-level wolves began to stir uneasily, as if something from 2008 was affecting them. Soon, this restlessness has spread to the gold level. The uneasy mood and some inexplicable influence made the wolves feel like they were losing control. What happened? Mu Yushi also saw this situation and asked aloud. Ouch. The Xiaoyu Sirius under him also let out a deep wolf howl. The pack is affected by something. GTN saw the wolves becoming restless. Their eyes seem to be getting redder. This impact has the greatest impact on silver level and gold level beasts. Palace level ferocious beasts are resistant to this influence. Haha, how is it? How about my orc clan's phantom god bead? The bear laughed wildly, seeing the restlessness of the wolves. He knew success was close. He and GTN talked nonsense for a long time, not just for fun, but on purpose. Just to let the influence of the magic god pearl have an effect on the wolves. In this way, he can kill all the wolves effortlessly, and he can also attack the opposing human race. The other three orcs also smiled. Obviously, this is all agreed upon. Is there more? If not, you don't have to leave today. GTN still looked cold. He remained calm, not taking the crisis to his eyes. Mu Yushi slowly relaxed her mind when she saw that GTN was still very steady. HMPH, arrogant. Let me see how arrogant you can be. Shangda saw that GTN still didn't take him seriously, and felt a little angry. But he is also looking for. Where is GTN's confidence? Are you pretending to make trouble or are you pretending to be steady? Shang-Er, increase the influence of the magic god pearl. Shangda quietly whispered to Shang-Er beside him. Let's see how you can control the beast behind you this time. Shang-Er smiled, immediately took out a pink bead from his pocket. There is an inexplicable gas flowing in the beads, making the beads appear extraordinary. This is the gold-level secret treasure, the Phantom Pearl. It is also the biggest support for their orcs during this trip. Based on the magic god pearl, it affects the ferocious beasts. And with the help of feathers that carry the aura of the eastern overlord of the grassland, the sky-splitting eagle. Even palace-level ferocious beasts must be driven by them. When Shang-Er took out the magic god pearl, GTN was keenly aware of their little moves. A faint smile in my heart. Is it the ferocious beast influenced by that little thing? After having a way to deal with it in his mind, GTN was also a little curious about that thing. Damn it. Gold-level secret treasure. Are the orcs so generous? People from the 4 major colleges in the distance also saw the magic god orb taken out by the orcs, and they were immediately surprised. That is a priceless gold-level secret treasure. Although it is the lowest level secret treasure, it is still rare to find. The reason why secret treasures are called secret treasures is because they have magical functions, and these things are treasures naturally bred by heaven and earth. It cannot be cast by man at all. That's why it is so precious. It can be said that every piece is priceless. No palace-level existence necessarily possesses a secret treasure. That's why they are surprised. The orcs would actually give secret treasures to these low-level orcs. There is one more thing to covet. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the secret treasure. In the opinion of some people. Anyway, they can't get the eggs of palace-level ferocious beasts. If you can get a gold-level secret treasure, it won't be a loss. Shang Zaran can sense malice coming from all directions, all of which are greed for the magic god bead. But he was not afraid at all. He is protected by hundreds of palace-level ferocious beasts. Those who are not afraid of death can come. Shang once again sent energy into the magic god bead, and at the same time, an energy that humans could not perceive was emitted from the fantasy god bead. Soon it spread to the wolf clan. Ouch! The silver and gold level wolves could no longer control themselves and wanted to attack the surrounding wolves. But GTN obviously won't let such a thing happen. Howling Moon Sirius, Wolf King's pressure. Ouch! Xiaoyu Sirius' body suddenly emitted a wave of waves. This wave of fluctuation can actually offset the influence of the magic god pearl. In an instant, the wolves' eyes no longer turned red, but returned to their original appearance. They all returned to their positions again. The attack of the phantom pearl is ineffective against the wolves. What? How is that possible? Seeing the wolves quickly regaining consciousness, Shangda was a little shocked. His magic god bead has never failed again. What method did he use to make the magic god orb ineffective? Shang give me more strength. 277 Shang immediately outputs with all his strength. He doesn't believe it anymore. The palace-level ferocious beast has to be controlled, so why should the silver wolf, who is the top silver wolf, fight with it? Maximize the effect of the magic god bead. In the end, the two special energies formed a balance. No one can influence anyone. No one can control anyone. Knowing that it could not affect the wolves on GTN's side, Shangda asked Shang to maintain output. You're cruel. Let's continue. Shangda crossed his arms provocatively. Your beast control has been restricted, so the tricks you used in the West can't be used, right? Shangda said with a wicked smile, showing his yellow and white fangs. Oh, so you paid attention to this. GTN smiled and said. That's right, it can't be used anymore, so what? Do you still need to use my food to deal with you? Furious, Shangda was a little angry. The arrogant look of the guy opposite made him very unhappy. Apart from being angry in front of that woman, no one would dare not give him face. Be sure to think of his head as the top view. Go, leave 10 palace-level ferocious beasts, let me attack the others. His beasts can't move, and we have more top-level ferocious beasts than them. Kill them. The bear roared angrily. The real war begins now. Since the magic god pearl is useless, then fight them with ferocious beasts. In the end, their winning rate was still the highest. Chapter 74. Ah, do you really think having more people will be useful? GTN watched with cold eyes. Ouch, ouch. The wolf kings behind GTN were almost crazy with joy. They followed their emperor, from the north to the west. They didn't even participate in a battle. Just following behind to make soy sauce. They are the wolf kings. He is a hot-blooded and warlike wolf king. But under the leadership of the wolf king, it turned out to be as useless as the gold and silver levels. They felt helpless and aggrieved. And now, they got the opportunity they had been dreaming of. They were going crazy with excitement. They can finally fight to their heart's content. Moreover, he is fighting against a palace-level ferocious beast that he rarely fights against. This makes their blood boil even more. Go, let me see the strength of the Steppenwolf kings. GTN heard the impatient wolf king's voice and said with a smile. It's also my own fault. There was actually a lot of wolf king left unused. Look at holding them back. When the wailing wolf kings heard GTN's order, they rushed out immediately. Yilang found a rival. There are intermediate level wolf kings who even fight against 2 or even 3 junior level ferocious beasts alone. This instantly smoothed the gap between the two sides. Only then did GTN notice. The ferocious beasts brought by the opponent were all juniors in the palace. There is no intermediate level in the palace. It seems that the influence of the sky-splitting eagle is also limited and cannot affect the intermediate level ferocious beasts in the palace. In fact, this is not the case. He underestimated the ferocity of the sky-splitting eagle. The sky-splitting eagle is not unfounded as the overlord of this grassland. It firmly controls the east of the grassland, monitoring the entire area. Whenever a ferocious beast breaks through to the intermediate level of the palace, it will kill the opponent mercilessly. It has been like this for countless years. So, it's not that there are no intermediate level ferocious beasts in the east of the grassland. Instead, all the intermediate level ferocious beasts in some palaces were killed by the sky-splitting eagle. The remaining ferocious beasts simply do not dare to break through to the intermediate level of the palace. I am afraid that I will bring disaster to myself. Therefore, the sky-splitting eagle is the only overlord in this area. There is no one else. It is precisely this. Faced with the order of the sky-splitting eagle, these beasts at the junior level of the palace simply did not dare to disobey. Otherwise, why would a few gold-level orcs order them? The area around the cliff is obviously not wide enough for a palace-level ferocious beast to perform. With full force, the two sides fought directly outside the encirclement. Outside the circle, they exert their respective strengths unscrupulously. There is a pure physical collision. Every time, the air in the town is a little shaken. Let the earth crack. There are mutual energy attacks. In an instant, the sky and the earth lit up with beams of light. Thousands of miles of grassland have been cut. The violent roar makes people feel shocked by the palace-level power. The battle between hundreds of palace-level ferocious beasts spreads over 1,000,000 miles. Is this the power of a palace? It's so terrifying. The shivering people lying on the grassland looked at the ferocious beasts that were destroying the world and shrank their heads in fear. I am afraid that the terrifying energy will fall on me. This is several times stronger than their gold-level ferocious beasts. Palace level. You must get the palace-level ferocious beast cub. After witnessing the terrifying strength of the palace-level ferocious beast at this moment, every pair of the sky-splitting eagle's eggs is full of desire. Most of them have reached gold level. If they don't find the palace-level ferocious beast this time, then they will have to deal with another cub who only has gold-level qualifications. Then they might have to stay at the gold level for the rest of their lives. This is what they don't want. FFLA 0898100008K0444505030. They cherish this opportunity even more. Shangda's eyes gradually turned cold. The magic pearl was restrained by the opponent. It did not have the expected effect. There were dozens more palace-level ferocious beasts than them, but they were also inextricably beaten by them. Waste. It's all rubbish. He just boasted that Heiko would use the arrogant guy opposite him as a jingguan. How can he get it now? What? Are you at your wit's end? GTN continued to challenge. He wanted to try to see what other trump cards the other party had. This way, there won't be so many surprises when you get into trouble. Hearing GTN's arrogant words, smoke was coming out of Shangda's angry head. How hateful. Too annoying. It's just that he doesn't have any other means. I originally thought that using the magic god pearl would be enough. But I didn't expect that not only the magic god pearl would be used now, but also the palace-level ferocious beasts would be used. The other party was unhurt. Isn't this a slap in the face? How's it going? I said no one else is in a hurry. Why are you in a hurry? The hiding place of the three major colleges. The team leader of Xuanwu Academy said proudly. HMPH, I'm just right for once. It's not you who solved the problem, so why are you happy? Wazian put away her whip and left the leader of the White Tiger Academy behind. His eyes were full of warning. It looks like if you say another word, she will go crazy. Backquote. Got. Han Yiyang, who felt he couldn't beat the opponent, waved his hand and said he was giving up. The other people watching snickered. It seems that once the orcs' troubles are solved, the open-air eagles will come out, right? Yun Wanchu, the team leader of White Tiger Academy, looked at the two sides confronting each other and said, yes, our opportunity has really come this time. Hua Zian stood up, walked to Wan Yunchu and said excitedly. She could still control herself a little. Ever since I saw the palace-level beast master, I couldn't hold back the excitement in my heart. She must get an egg from a palace-level ferocious beast. Don't worry, you are anxious again. What if something happens again? Han Yiyang, who was sitting on the ground, saw Wazian's anxious look. He accidentally poured cold water on her again. What else can happen? Anyone who can be there has already been there. Nuo Jiao. Hua Zian turned around and breathed. Why is this damn leader of Xuanwu Academy always having trouble with her? Hey, here's my chance. I don't know when he came to the battlefield, but the male elf who never showed up chuckled when he saw the stalemate between the two sides. What orcs? What human race? Isn't it true that the one who appeared in the end was still from the elf clan? He sees the current situation very clearly. The two sides have reached a stalemate. As long as he joins the orc clan now, he can definitely let the human clan who kidnapped his clan sister hand her over as a slave. If he doesn't pay, then let Wanling Shi, the middle-level member of the palace, join in. Now a mid-level beast is enough to change the direction of the entire battlefield. At that time, it won't be as simple as just handing over the clan girl. Make plans. The male elves revoke Wanling Shi's hiding from them. Chapter 75. When Wanling Shi's concealment skills were revoked, the whereabouts of one person and one beast were exposed to many forces. Despicable human race. Hand over my sister quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for taking action. The male elf stood beside Wanling Shi and shouted angrily at GTN. He believes, when the opponent sees Wanling Shi, he will never become his enemy, otherwise he will provoke an intermediate level beast. Oh, another elven clan. GTN looked at the male elf who suddenly jumped out and was a little surprised. Isn't it hard to see elves? How come I've already seen two of them? One of them seemed to have been snatched away by me. He was a little surprised to see the elf girl, but in order to prevent the whereabouts of the wolf clan from being exposed so quickly, he tied her up. Then she kept pretending to be faint and ignored her. So, after Mu Yushi arrived, he had almost forgotten that there was an elf beside him. Now there is this group of elves that suddenly jumped out. He just remembered, looking towards the unhappy female elf behind. Seeing GTN's eyes as if he just thought of her. The elf girl Sha felt hurt 10,000 times. It doesn't hurt much, but it's extremely insulting. Me, do I have no sense of existence? She had never been so wrong before and almost burst into tears. But 490 thought of being in public now. Still holding it back forcefully. But the melancholy look in his eyes, as if he had been wronged a lot, made GTN feel dizzy. Look at me. I'm not obsessed with you. I just knocked you unconscious and brought you back, and I didn't lack you for drink or food. Brother G, what is this? In fact, after Mu Yushi recovered, she noticed this extremely beautiful blonde elf girl. At first glance, even though she is a girl, she feels a little surprised. Although I know that elven women are all beautiful. But beauty like the girl at the back certainly doesn't come often. But if Brother G doesn't tell her, it's hard for her to ask. Now I have an excuse. So, plus what the male elf said just now. Does Brother G like women with big breasts, perky hips and long legs like her? Mu Yushi looked at her figure unconsciously. It seems a little smaller than her. GTN didn't know that Mu Yushi had already thought so much. In order to avoid misunderstanding, he explained to her directly. I encountered this when I was taming a wolf pack. I was worried about the wind noise while walking, so I kept carrying it with me. Oh, that. Mu Yuxi's face turned red. She thinks too much again. But, what kind of girls does Brother G like? She left the question to think about later. There's no need to hide now. If you want to go with him, I won't stop you. Although GTN is not a good person, he is not an evil person either. He has always adhered to the principle. I will not offend others unless they offend me. If someone offends me, I will kill someone. So, he will not stop the elf girl from leaving. You don't want me to stay. Hearing that GTN was willing to let her go so easily. She suddenly felt that she had failed as GTN's prisoner. She knows her worth well. It can be said, no matter which race she is placed in, her appearance can fetch sky-high prices. But there was no nostalgia for him in GTN's eyes. What kind of human race is this? She became deeply curious about GTN. This is completely different from what their teachers taught them. As for GTN, it was because he was worried about the threat from his own people. She never thought about it at all. After seeing the power of GTN, she didn't think he would fail if he added an intermediate level ferocious beast. GTN was a little confused. As a prisoner, you are not happy if I let you go now. Do you still want me to keep you? Why should I keep you? Something's wrong with you. Something is very wrong. But he couldn't say this. You are an elf and I am a human. I originally wanted to wait until the decisive battle before sending you away, but now that your kind is here, it would be the same to leave now. Are you chasing me away? Elf tribe AIAG, Girl Shaw asked weakly. As pitiful as an abandoned child. Of course not. If you want to stay here, it will be the same when you leave the secret realm. Such a beautiful elf girl. Of course GTN will not forcefully drive him away. It doesn't take up much space anyway. It's nice to stay here, isn't it? Then I'll stay. The elf girl said without hesitation. The later you can leave, the later you can leave. She wants to understand this human race on a deeper level. I saw a male elf coming out with an intermediate level ferocious beast. Shangda and his party were startled, thinking they were helpers from the human race on the opposite side. After all, the relationship between the elves and the human race is much better than that of the orcs. As a result, when the male elves said that they were looking for someone from the other party, Shangda was relieved. Otherwise, there would be nothing he could do if a mid-level ferocious beast suddenly came. What he hopes most now is that the human race opposite him is a lustful person, unwilling to hand over the female elf. In this case, they will have an absolute advantage again. When the female elf opposite said no, he immediately interrupted and shouted. The human race is indeed despicable. They even coerced and lured the elves. They are still unwilling to let her go. The sound was so loud that everyone present could hear it clearly. He did it on purpose. No, I stayed here voluntarily. Jarnold, I don't need you to save me. I will leave when the time comes. Hearing the orc's bewilderment opposite, the elf girl Shaw immediately said to the male elf Jarnod in the distance. After all, she is from the same clan, and the clansman who came to save her. She doesn't want the other party to be GTN's enemy. However, how could Jarnold listen to her words now? He traveled thousands of miles to come here to save her. Do you give up just because of the other person's words? Impossible. And the way his clan sister looked at that human clan made him even more furious. Can't. How could she fall in love with a human race? How dare you, a despicable human race, threaten my sister? You are seeking death. People from the elves are not weak. Immediately order Wan Lingxi to use collision. With the blessing of skills, the tens of meters of huge rhinoceros horns rushed towards GTN with tens of millions of tons of force. Majestic. Wherever it passes, a deep pit of more than 10 meters appeared on the grassland. And as the distance gets closer, its power is still gradually increasing. At this time, he attacked with an attack comparable to that of a high-level beast in the palace. Aren't you going to die this time? Bear laughs loudly. I didn't expect this elves to be so powerful. It's really in line with his temper to take action at the first sign of disagreement. He has already thought about it. When both sides suffer losses, he attacks. When the time comes, he not only wants the human race's head, but also wants to capture the two elves together. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.